So you know how there are those people who are breaking up with their boyfriends because their boyfriends voted for Trump?
And I asked them who they voted for. They said Donald Trump.
I lost 2 friends this week, all because we voted differently.
I've literally broken up with a man because he voted for Trump.
Me and you will never be friends if you're voting for Donald Trump.
Well, welcome back, guys. I got another video for you. The fallout of the results of the election. Many people are losing family, friends, boyfriends, and husbands because of who they voted for. Let's get into it.
Me and you will never be friends if you're voting for Donald Trump. Me and you will never remain friends if you're voting for Donald Trump. It's not a political difference. This is not the 2012, 2004 elections where we just disagree on how the economy should be ran. This is my life. If you are willing to vote for someone who gets to determine whether I live or die if I have complications when I have a child, you will never sit in the presence of me. I had to cut off one of my closest friends because of this election. It is that deep. Anybody can go. I don't care who you think you are.
I've literally broken up with a man because he voted for Trump. And you can too. It's very easy. Say bye. Toodaloo. Sayonara, bitch.
My best friend of 14 years. Literally half of my life. I'm 28. And I asked them who they voted for. They said Donald Trump. And they said, I'm assuming you voted the opposite. And I said, yes. And then my friend texted me and said, will you still be my friend?
So you know how there are those people who are breaking up with their boyfriends because their boyfriends voted for Trump and everybody's like, oh, well, it's just politics. People can have differing opinions. No. Yes, people can have different opinions, but not when it comes to human rights. Like different opinions when it comes to like pizza toppings or like what's your favorite ice cream flavor or like what's your favorite color. Like different opinions, yeah, that's completely valid. Like you can't be racist or sexist or homophobic and just be like, oh, well, it's just my opinion. Like, no, it's not an opinion. It's just, you're just being a bigot. I just don't understand why this is so hard to conceptualize. Like, why can't people just not be racist? Like, why can't people just not be homophobic? Like, why can't people just not be sexist? Like, it's really not that hard. So the people who are breaking up with their partners because their partners voted for Trump, I think it's valid because it's not just about different opinions. It's not just about politics anymore. It's about a lot more.
All right, guys, I'm going to give you my take on this subject strictly from a relationship point of view. Whether you are a man or a woman, whether you lean right or left politically, it doesn't matter. In our modern society today, we cannot afford to be in a relationship with someone that has a different political views than we have, especially when it comes to social issues. The reason is because we have become a society that does not believe in tolerance. We say that we do, but we don't. Back in the good old days, that was possible. A man and a woman with different political views can marry each other. Hell, women and men with different religious views will also marry each other. They were able to understand their political or religious views, and they set that aside for the benefit of the family. But today, it's either my way or the highway. Whether you are a man or a woman, today we simply do not tolerate the other person's political or religious views. So in a marriage, this is critical because it will not work if you do not believe the same. You just saw it in all of these videos. All of these women, none of them were capable or willing to set their views aside for that friendship or that relationship or that marriage. And this, by the way, will get even worse when you bring kids into this picture. Once you bring kids into this family, the whole dynamic changes because each of you is going to want to have your own input on how the kid's going to be raised. And that's going to create a whole bunch of problems for that marriage.
My husband is a big Trump supporter, so we fight all the time. Yeah, I used to argue all the time as well, and I realized arguing morals is not going to get you anywhere.
This is something I genuinely do not get. Democratic women married to Republican husbands. I don't get it. If my husband was a Republican, truthfully, I would file for divorce.
Well, all right, guys, you heard it directly from the horse's mouth. Now, I'm going to say something that many of you guys may not like. We are the ones who give out relationship. Women have no saying over this. They are the gatekeepers of sex, but not of relationship. We are the ones who bring them from being a friend to a girlfriend, from a girlfriend to a fiance, from a fiance to a wife. We are the ones who get on one knee and propose. So ultimately, it is our responsibility whom we bring into our lives. It is our responsibility to vet that woman. You cannot afford to waste 10, 15, 10 years of a marriage or a relationship with someone that believes different, that you know is going to create friction every single damn time there is an election or there's a midterm elections. You're going to be in a constant fight all the time.
My husband is a big Trump supporter, so we fight all the time.
So to those of you men who value your peace, why in the hell would you get in a relationship with someone like that? And for those of you who believe, yes, I can make it work, I can set my political views aside, that's not guaranteed that your woman will. That's just the way it is. Let's keep going.
I'm literally losing my mind that conservative men genuinely think getting rid of no-fault divorce laws will make women stay with their husbands they want to leave. Have you ever met a woman? One that's alive today and not in your mind? Because the women I know, when they're leaving a dude, they're leaving. They're piecing out. They're bouncing. And they're announcing it to everyone too. They're live tweeting about cutting off toxic people and protecting their peace. And women have been on their shit for a while now. This is not the 1800s anymore. And women are financially independent too. Even the stay-at-home moms are on their Etsy store and essential oils grind. And if you make it impossible for women to leave their shitty or abusive husbands, they've watched a lot of true crime. And you should keep that in mind.
Clearly, this woman does not understand what the no-fault divorce laws mean in this country. This woman thinks that by ending that, it will be forcing women to stay in a marriage they no longer want to be in, making it impossible for them to get out. What this woman does not understand is that by ending that, women now have to prove infidelity from that man in order for them to walk away from that marriage with money. The way it is right now, a woman can walk away out of any marriage simply because she fell out of love, they don't see eye to eye, they're no longer compatible, they grew apart, and she walks away with hundreds of thousands of dollars just because she feels like it. Almost like an incentive for them to leave that marriage. Now, with that law being gone, again, like I said, now they have to prove infidelity. In my opinion, that is heading on the right direction. I think that should have been gotten rid of a long time ago. It was in place because women were stay-at-home wives and they were taken care of by the men. And if the men decide to leave that woman will be unprotected financially. So that was a way to protect women. But in today's society, women earning just as much or more than men, graduating at a higher level than men, equality amongst men and women has increased tremendously. So I don't see in today's society why we should continue to maintain that law. I think it's good that we're getting rid of that. And the next thing I believe that we need to get rid of is the permanent alimony. Let's keep going.
This is a PSA for any of the ladies that have been seriously considering divorcing their husband. There's a lot of big conversations happening now that we have the results of the election, one of them being no-fault divorce. That is a type of divorce that allows you to end your marriage without needing to prove that anyone is at fault. Some lawmakers are looking to abolish that, which is going to make you divorcing your husband a lot harder. So here's what that potential change could mean for you. You're going to have to prove that your husband did something wrong, which can be even more expensive, emotionally draining, and time-consuming. Legal battles over fault can keep you in an endless and very expensive fight. Removing no-fault divorce could mean higher conflict in court, which is certainly not ideal for your kids or you. Without no-fault divorce, you lose the freedom to decide when to leave your marriage.
That's not true. That's a lie. Your freedom to get out of that marriage whenever you want is still in place. You never lose that. The only difference is that you are not going to walk away with that man's money simply because you fell out of love. But if you don't care about the man's money, who cares, right? Divorce the husband, you still have the freedom to get out of that marriage whenever you want. Just know that you're going to walk away with that money. After all, you're a strong and independent woman who does not need a man, not the man's money.
Your private decision could be left up to someone else's idea of what's right. So if you're unhappy in your marriage, now might be the time to act. Protect your right to choose what is best for you and your kids before it's taken away. Because the reasons that you want to leave your marriage are no one else's fucking business.
Well, there you have it, boys. This is the state of our modern society. Welcome to 2024. Now, one of the things that people have asked me from time to time is how am I able to maintain a successful marriage and still going strong and solid for 23 years? Now, there are many reasons, but one of them that I tell them is that my non-negotiables when I was dating back in the day were not to be negotiated. I do not care how hot and how beautiful that woman was. So when I was dating her and I was telling her what my non-negotiables were, I was not waiting for an answer that many people give today, such as, I think I'm okay with them. They don't bother me. I can live with them. I don't think they're a big deal, or they're not crazy. I think it's fine that you have your non-negotiables. That's not the answer that I was waiting for. So when my wife told me her non-negotiables, those had to be aligned with mine. And if they're not, there was no reason why to pursue a relationship. That was the advice that I was given when I was young by people that were in successful marriages themselves. So today I can tell you that my wife and I do have disagreements, but we have not had fights or arguments. We disagree on little things here and there, but when it comes to the big things, the things that break marriages, we agree eye to eye on every single one of those things. So we have a very peaceful and harmonious marriage and a great relationship between her and myself and our kids. So if I were to give you guys one piece of advice from experience, is that your non-negotiables, whether you are a man or a woman, they have to be aligned with the person you're dating. It is not enough for them to be okay with your non-negotiable. Because once you get into that marriage and the honeymoon period is over, and then the real deal kicks in, and kids come into the picture, then those non-negotiables, those things that they said they were fine with, that they were okay, that they can live with them, all of a sudden they can't. So at the end of the day, guys, it is ultimately our responsibility whom we decide to give relationship to. And it is our responsibility to take the time and vet properly that woman that we're going to bring into our lives to make her our fiancé, our wives, and the mother of our kids. Now, I apologize that I have not made any video for about a month. I left about a week before the election. I packed up my stuff, went to Central America, Honduras to be exact, to finalize the details of my cabin, my retirement home that I'm planning on building. Next year, I'm just going to be here for New Year's, maybe a week or so after that, and then I'm going to head out. By the way, I bought this big piece of property up in the mountains, beautiful pine trees with the temperature, it's about 65 degrees year round. I do not like the city. It's too busy, it's too crowded. The traffic is crazy. I just like the peace and quiet, be up there with the trees. Beautiful piece of property, big enough because I don't want neighbors. And the other thing is that my wife loves to garden, so I'm going to set up this big garden for her since she enjoys the outdoor and one of her passion is gardening. So she's going to want to grow all kinds of fruits and vegetables. So I'm going to set that up for her as well. So I'll be out there for about 5 or 6 months, however long it takes me to build this cabin. And the reason I was there for a whole month is because I wanted to see what kind of materials I needed to bring from the States that I couldn't find there, because I wanted to build this cabin a certain way, the way we build things here in the States according to the US codes and standards. So me being in this industry for more than a decade, I know exactly what I wanted to build and how I wanted to build it. Now, I did talk to my builder down there, and I asked him if I could borrow his guys so that I could build this cabin myself using them. And by the way, guys, this has been a work in progress since 2012. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. As a matter of fact, my daughter keeps bugging me, telling me, Dad, I keep hearing you saying you're going to build this cabin, and I've been hearing this for years, and you never do it. Well, it's actually happening next year. So our plan is to be there about maybe 8 months out of the year, and the rest of it here, somewhere on Thanksgiving, and maybe stay 4 months here, and then head out, and then just do this back and forth. So to those of you who are wondering about how much this cabin will cost me, I have estimated it, labor and material, to be about $55,000, maybe pushing $60,000. Now, as far as the cost of living is, if you want to maintain your U.S. standard of living, if your house is paid off, you can safely do it with $1,000 a month, guaranteed. Now, if you want to live extremely comfortable, $2,000 a month will give you that life. Now, there's a lot of people in many of the Western countries doing that, packing up their stuff and go to many countries throughout the world. So I'm not going to be the first nor the last. If you want to use the power of the dollar to live a very comfortable life outside US, there are so many places that you can go to. All you have to do is find your piece of paradise and maximize the power of the dollar. Now, I want to conclude this video by bringing it back to relationship. I'm the kind of guy that believes that there's still good women out there. I'm not the guy that says that all women are trash. There are still good women there in many of the Western countries. You just have to find them. They're there, but they're hard to find, which is why taking your time comes into place. A good woman beside you will help you build an entire empire, but a bad woman beside you will tear down whatever empire you have built for yourself. A good woman beside you will help you and take care of your money and take care of you, but a bad woman beside you will spend that money faster with a spoon than you can bring it with a shovel. Therefore, it is imperative that you get this one right if a relationship is what you want. I'm telling you from personal experience that having a good woman beside you, you can do wonderful things. It is a wonderful thing to experience, but I have seen the other side in people that I know. Unfortunately, I'm not blind to that reality, but I can tell you that having a good woman beside you, it's a wonderful thing. So I hope that I'm giving you something for you guys to think about. Those of you who want to get into a relationship, those of you who might think or might be considering on the possibility of leaving the West and go to some other places to maximize the power of your dollar, by all means do it. And that, my friends, is my take on this video and my advice to you. You need to watch your six, guys, at all times. Be on your grind until you accomplish the goal that you want to accomplish. And I'll see you next time.